Hi, I'm Clinton.
I'm Claude, and we're the Lamest Defenders. So, continuing our Marvel Legacy reviews, we're doing Iron Man 3. I hate it. He loves it. So, let's just get started.
Hi, Thanos. We're the Lamest Defenders.
I don't even know who you are.
We have a small but dedicated fan base.
Be sure to visit our sponsor at BaskervilleProductions.com. So Iron Man 3 starts off a little different than the previous two entries. It actually starts with a voiceover from Tony Stark, where he's just kind of recapping everything. He actually goes back all the way to 99. It's a Y2K party in, I think it's Bern, Sweden, Switzerland.
I think it's Switzerland.
Some more Nordic.
Yeah.
It looks really nice. It's snowing. It's pretty. And Aldrin Killick kind of crashes his little party to talk to him about Extremis and all the
AIM,
all the amazing things they can do, blah, blah, blah. And the best part about this is Happy Hogan looking exactly like John Travolta from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
I loved his look so much. It was amazing. Tony tells Aldrich that he will meet him on the roof within 5 minutes. It's like, it was just a weird tactic to get rid of a fellow scientist, but okay.
Yeah.
And he obviously forgets about him. There's a
booty party.
Yeah,
There's literally a Marvel orgy. Something that I don't think Disney would film nowadays, but it just shows that Tony Stark's a womanizer.
Well, technically this was 99.
That's
so
true.
It's fine.
That's true. Yeah. So
and he leaves him up there for undisclosed amount of time that we don't know of yet.
Right.
And cut to modern day, and Tony suffering from basically PTSD from the results of the Avengers movie.
Battle of New York.
He can't get New York out of his head. He's freaking out. He doesn't sleep. He's just making suits. That's all he does. Then the Mandarin, there's a character called the Mandarin who is causing terrorist attacks throughout the world, basically.
Some call me a terrorist.
Yeah. The Mandarin played by Ben Kingsley. Very much like in the voice of Bane, I feel, from The Dark Knight Rises. But
you can only understand 50% of what he says.
Yeah, it was great. I love the way Ben Kingsley just chewed the scenery in this movie.
It was cool, yeah.
It was great. It was a great villain. I loved it. And so after the Mandarin basically challenges the president, Tony Stark calls out the Mandarin. It's like, you know what? Here's my address, which is a really smart thing to do. So he's trying to basically win over Pepper again. Like, she's living with him, but he's not spending a lot of time with her. He's ignoring her, basically, to fix these suits.
And it doesn't help either that Aldrich Killian is now a handsome man that's fixed all of his disabilities, and now he's a very successful tech genius, just like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's a little bit, he's not happy that she's being whatsoever.
Not his usual...
usual
boisterous self.
Right.
So he buys his giant rabbit. I don't even know how they got it in the house.
No.
But he buys this giant rabbit to kind of make an apology for Pepper for Christmas, which this is a Christmas movie, by the way. This has been declared a Christmas movie by Disney because there's Christmas songs in the background and a tree here and there. So.
Yeah, because everyone thinks of Christmas and Iron Man. Thanks, Disney.
So the Mandarin attacks his house, almost kills Pepper, Tony, and his biology. I hate to call her a biologist, but his biologist friend, who was from the beginning of the movie as well,
who he hooked up with.
So Tony had a flight plan because he was trying to hunt down or track down these explosions and where they originated. And there's a particular soldier that this was like the first example of. So the first case of, rather, excuse me. So he had a flight plan set for, I think it was Tennessee, or
it was rural Tennessee. And this is the part where the movie to me falls apart, because when he crash lands in this Tennessean rural area, he gets greeted by a child. So it's literally like it feels like 30-45 minutes of just him and this kid, and it's nobody wants to see that, really. I mean, like, nothing against the kid actor, because I think he did a great job for what he did in the movie and everything like that. It just wasn't fun to watch to me.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. The interaction between them was just whatever.
Well, it was the Mark 42 suit that Tony crashed with. He literally passed out on the flight there.
Yeah.
Because it was like he came out from under the Pacific Ocean, basically just flew across the country. So he passed out pretty quick, I guess.
Yeah.
From exhaustion, more than likely. And he wakes up and he's about to crash on the ground. So the suit's just destroyed, basically. Suit needs to be reconstructed, recharged, all that good stuff. And that's where that kid helps him out with that. He kind of like basically steals his little engineering lab. And
I get it, too, that, you know, he's Tony Stark's out of the suit, but he's got to use his genius because he can't rely on his armor anymore, which is fine and everything like that. But it just felt like Home Alone, like, where you're just like, he's building all this stuff, and I'm just like, all right, let's wrap this up. You know, I didn't like this entire like middle portion of the movie.
I really want a Home Alone now with Iron Man. Tony Stark, that would be
bring
amazing.
it back.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can't. He's still fighting extremists. Throughout all of this, though, Happy Hogan is in a coma. He was tracing down one of Aldrich Killian's goons, I guess, and there was an explosion at Mann's Chinese Theater.
Yeah.
And Happy's knocked out, which unfortunately gave us a lot less Jon Favreau in the movie. But what are you gonna do?
He's not directing.
He's not directing that, so he can't insert himself in anything.
I'm in it now. And this is another part of the movie. So there's a lot of little things in Iron Man 3 that makes me dislike this movie quite a bit. Okay. And one of the other things is there's a particular actor who plays one of the henchmen for Killian, and he always just talks like this. It's like he's chewing gum in every scene, and it's just like he's a jabroni the entire thing. And it's just like, okay, like, that's not needed. It's just, it just sucks.
It was like Mr. Ed. They put peanut butter on the top of his mouth.
Yeah.
That's so we talk more.
And I've seen him in other stuff, and he's a good actor. It's just like, I don't know if he just, you know, he's just working off what they give him, you know, but it just wasn't a good role. And it was stupid.
Well,
so.
The villains weren't the strongest part of this movie. I loved Tony Stark just being out of the suit, like just being Tony Stark. We had so much of him in the suit in Iron Man 2 and Avengers. It was kind of nice just to see him be him. Right. Like I love that part, honestly. Like I love that aspect of the movie, but
a
lot of people don't.
I don't. It's just the movie just felt like a crappy James Bond movie when Tony Stark was out of the suit, and he there's a part where he's basically a spy because he's trying to find out more stuff about the Mandarin. Crash that scene, you know, because he's filming and everything like that. I'm just like, this is awful. It's just, he's throwing ornaments, he's using a dart gun. I just why did anyone think this is a good idea? And it's just,
I understand, ornaments because it's Christmas time,
right? You know, Disney's got to sell more ornaments, but it just this is me personally, I didn't like this stuff for it. I understand that Tony Stark, like, they're trying to turn a new rock, you know, for him to be outside the suit. It's just, these scenes to me were kind of cringe.
So when he does discover the Mandarin's hideout and eventually confronts the Mandarin, we find out that Ben Kingsley is just an actor. He is literally just an actor who
loves Bud Light.
And watches football or soccer, excuse me. And but the explosions happen because of soldiers coming back from war. They've lost their arms or anything like that, and something along those lines. Some of the horrible things, causes of war, repercussions of war rather, and they just want a chance. Like, this guy gives him a chance. Like, oh, here, we're gonna help you. We're gonna get your limbs back. Like, no more of that.
They're basically using veterans as their guinea pigs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it doesn't go well, and these veterans are just exploding.
Yeah, they're literally exploding. Like, it just looks like they're farting. Like,
yeah, it does not go well. It's like 3,000 degrees Kelvin or something like that. It's just insane. Like,
I can't even count that high.
Incinerates everything. So yeah, it's pretty awful. But so Aldrich Killian creates the Mandarin as a means of this is a terrorist. This is just what he's doing, and
to justify why they need the extremist stuff. So.
And the best scene in the movie, I feel, is when the Mandarin and Tony Stark are talking for the first time, and the Mandarin's just giving his spiel. Like, is Trevor, forget his last name, sorry, but Trevor, and he's like, oh, well, you know, I was on drugs, I was homeless, blah blah blah, and they offered me a chance. He goes, oh, to get off drugs? Like, no, to give me more. I love that. Ben Kingsley was great in this movie. But yeah, he stole it for sure for me. And
then there's an action scene too where it takes place on Air Force One, and you have Iron Patriot, who is being commanded by the guy I hate, the jabroni. And once again, we have another movie just like in Iron Man 2 where War Machine goes off the grid. Well, maybe Don Cheadle / Rhodey isn't in the suit this time, but it's still like, come on, like here we go again. And this guy's still smacking his lips, like giving the wink and nod to Tony Stark. And as an action scene, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one really cool thing about this entire plane sequence was, there's massive holes blown out of the airplane. So it really reminded me of Sony's new VR game that's all Iron Man focused. Yeah. So there's a scene in the game where it's very similar to this.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. Just shooting drones.
Yeah, it was
fixing
cool.
the plane. It was really neat. My favorite part, one of the favorite parts of the movie was when Iron Man is trying to basically rescue all those people from who were, I guess, vacuumed out of the plane.
Right.
And he says, like, I'm going to send a small electric current through you so you won't let go as soon as you grab these people.
It's just all
and
poop themselves.
He's all like, anyone play Barrel of Monkeys?
Yeah.
And it's just to see like 11, 12 people just all connected. It was so cool.
It was
and
cool.
it was like, I'm pretty sure that was a real effect too. Like that was a real thing they did.
Yeah.
Because there was a feature where they actually choreographed that and they had to do it. That was awesome.
It's like the first 10 minutes of the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah. So after that, he confronts Mandarin, the real Mandarin, Aldrich Killian now, and or he claims to be the real Mandarin. And then Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow gets her pre-goop. Pre-goop glow, I guess.
Yeah. It was just an excuse to really just show off Gwyneth Paltrow's abs for a new makeup line or something like that. It was just something that
a new candle.
Yeah, I mean, before we dive into that, it was just the whole final fight scene is that I believe it's the president is captured.
Yeah,
and
the Iron Patriots.
Don Cheadle and Tony Stark are there. I call him Don Cheadle. Rhodey and Tony Stark are there to help free the president, basically. So. Again, we got more James Bond escapades a little bit, but then Rhodey says that they need backup. Tony Stark is like, I agree. So then you have thousands, it feels like thousands of just Iron Man suits. And the thing about it for this scene and with all the Iron Man suits is Tony Stark isn't really developing them to be amazing. They're kind of just... like a Kmart brand Iron Man suit.
Well, they each have their own purpose. They each do their own thing. So.
And they're just, in this entire fight scene, they're fighting generic bad guys. At this point, it just feels like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, all right, let's wrap it up here, boys. Yeah. And that's when you have more conflict with Pepper and Tony, where it looks like both of them are going to die because Aldrich is there. And it's just
he's all Super Saiyan.
Yeah, he's just glowing. He's got heartburn and stuff, and it was kind of a mess for a final fight.
Yeah, it wasn't the best.
No,
I mean, it was basically to get all that was just to get all the Iron Man suits there, so he could prove to Pepper like, hey, I'm going to work on myself, and he does so by destroying all the Iron Man suits in the process.
Then he rebuilds them all.
Then he rebuilds them all. Yeah. Then he gets the arc reactor out of his chest and.
Which makes sense, just because
I wouldn't want that in me. A
lot of people are like, I can't believe they removed his reactor that's keeping the shrapnel away. It's just like, okay, if he can fly around in an Iron Man suit, he probably has the technology to remove all the shrapnel.
Yeah, for sure.
So
he did.
And it's funny too. Gwyneth Paltrow saves the day. She does like a butt buster bomb or something, and it kills Killian.
Sonic boom.
And I was watching the movie. I was like, how did they just get rid of her powers? Because Tony Stark just mentions, I fixed up Pepper.
I almost did this 20 years ago. I'm sure if I spend some time with him, I can fix you.
Yeah.
And he does.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what, a 5-second clip line, and then you miss it and it's gone. Like, oh, okay. I guess. All right. That'll work.
So overall, I don't really like this movie. It's one of my least favorites in the entire MCU. And we're going to review one of our even worse movie, and it's just to me, we talked about it off camera, but I just feel like this movie can fit in line with a lot of the older superhero movies whenever this genre was first coming about,
early 2000s.
So I would give this movie honestly probably 6.4. Let's make it 4. 6.4.
Wow, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a little bit higher than that. I'm gonna say 7.5. Because I liked really everything about this except the end fight scene.
Yeah.
I liked Tony Stark being out of the suit. I liked him just being a person. Like it was just refreshing to me. It reminded me a lot, honestly, of Iron Man 1. Which Iron Man 1 is still the best out of the trilogy, but this one's second to me. But it's not a bad movie. It's a really good movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it was great. I thought because you had that snappy dialogue the whole time.
That's fine. That's just Robert Downey Jr. He's just a great actor.
And Shane Black, who directed. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Shane Black, who directed. He's a buddy cop connoisseur director. So yeah, it's kind of his bag.
Yeah, it's just it's not a bad movie. It's just something that is definitely, in my opinion, one of the weaker movies in the entire 23 lineup.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
But that's all we have for this review. So for the next video, we are reviewing Thor: Dark World, which we can't really redeem either. So we'll catch you guys soon.
Nope. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. Stay on.